Hey guys, thanks for coming to my channel. So I have a question for you today. What makes a god a god? When I hear the word God, it irks me a little because I don't really know what that means. What makes a god a god? Why don't we just consider God an alien, as in an extraterrestrial? By many definitions, it would seem to fit the criteria, as God is not of the earth. But it doesn't seem like anyone ever puts the universal creator into that category. Now, I know there are definitions of God that are like God is love or God is the universe, but as those are not gods that I would think would ask for worship, as they are more concepts than anything. I'm talking about the anthropomorphic, immortal type of God, as in a being of some sort that is not of the earth. Doesn't that qualify him as an alien? And if so, would any other alien races, as long as they are in some way more powerful than us, be worthy of worship? Perhaps the thought that God is different because he is supernatural. But then I would contest this on the grounds that, to me, supernatural is just a term for natural things that we haven't discovered yet. Before we understood about germ theory, illness was often thought of as supernatural by things like demon possession. So maybe the kind of powers that God would have, omniscience for example, aren't supernatural at all. Until it's somehow proved that they are, I simply don't believe in supernatural. So would just having some powers we don't understand make a being a god? Lots of TV and movies make cases for this, such as aliens being taken as gods, at least by the naive or unquestioning masses. There have been many cases of this in sci-fi, but this also usually ends with the protagonist conquering or exposing the being for not being worthy of the god title. This is also quite a common theme in comic books, where a character who has power is often mistaken for or tries to label themselves a god. But despite having those powers, we, as the outside observers to the world, can see them as being flawed. Maybe their power is derived by technology so advanced that it looks supernatural. Is God only a god because he created us? Does that mean, if the time ever comes that we perfect artificial intelligence or lab-created life, that we would then be gods? Would they be justified in worshipping us? Is it because God is supposed to be immortal or immaterial? Because again, there are stories with non-corporeal beings, such as the Thasians in Star Trek, so just not having a body or form can't be the main justification for God's status. And as for immortal, would Captain Jack Harkness be a god? I mean, John Barrowman is pretty worthy of worship. And also, how do we know if God is immortal? Has anyone tried to kill him? So why do we give these entities the title of God and not just alien? Is it just to give us permission to worship them? Because the title of alien doesn't sound dignified or rarefied enough? And if we fell down to our knees to a greater being just for the sake of them being greater than us, it would look too much like slavery or servitude. So is the God of the Bible or the Quran or any other being out there being worshipped as such really just an alien? If there ever comes a time that we do discover alien beings, would you worship them? Would you see them as gods? Anyway, thanks for listening. Feel free to like and subscribe or post your comments below. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on this. And remember to keep learning and keep questioning. And above all, it's okay to be wrong.